Welcome back to some Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. This time around, I don't really know what I'm doing, I forgot. Hasn't even been a terribly long amount of time since I've played, I don't know. It's a lot of quests, man. I think I killed a Monoblos last time around. That's like my recollection. Oh, right. Because yeah, I have a white Monoblos now that's up. Olympusarios. Okay, well, you know what? I feel like maybe we'll just try out the white Monoblos. We'll see what happens. So, I beseech you for help. An old enemy has cut our hunters down to the last man. I fled to tell you that the silver-horned white Monoblos terrorizes us once again. Rid us of it. Alright, sure. Let's give it a go. I can't really recall the last time I fought a white Monoblos. It would have been literally years ago at this point in time. I think that might have been more of a thing for the first generation, the second generation. Just in, like, naming something just what it is based on its color. Like, you had the same thing with Fatalis, where you had white and crimson. You had the same thing with Rathalos and Raytheon. Azure. Pink? I can't remember the name of the, I think it's just Pink Raytheon. Then you have gold and silver. I think Silver Rathalos is undoubtedly one of my favorite sets in the entire game. It just looks good. I think, broadly speaking... Oh, nice. My favorite color scheme is kind of like white and black. Oh wow, this guy is... he's pretty spook. I wouldn't want to have to fight him in real life. But in a video game, I will do my best. He's actually so big, it's, uh-oh. Yeah, get out of here. Okay. We'll do that. Even my green isn't really going to get through his back, eh? Alright. Yeah, let's get out of the way of that tail. He's probably going to charge. If I can go, yeah, if I can go forwards, I can generally get out of that with Monoblos and Diablos. Your biggest issue is Greatsword is like when you bounce like that, if you happen to end up in a position where he's not going to run over top of you, it can be pretty tough. Luckily, this Kezu armor that I've upgraded is continuing to really, like, hold up. Even some bad hits here, I feel like, are going around fine. You definitely don't want to be too close to him, though. Like, okay. You do want to be close enough to him that he doesn't have time to, like, aim on you as he's running. Because he has to make all the adjustments while he is moving. So, if you're in a different position from, like, where he's originally lined up to strike, and you're further away, he just has more time to kind of, like, point himself towards you. If you're really, really close off, he is more inclined to have to try and aim and turn in a way that you can't. Kind of like a car, you know? You can't go 90 degrees out of nowhere. You can take a 90-degree turn, but the car doesn't turn 90 degrees. It just, like, turns over an arc over a, you know, period of acceptable distance within that 90 degrees. I don't really know. I don't drive. I think that's how it works. That's how it looks like it works. cars don't turn on right angles. They kind of like arc. I don't even feel shame about not driving. I think that's something that a lot of people feel, you know, especially depending on the country you're in. There is this impression that driving, owning a car, is a static sign of success. Which is funny to me because I've historically seen a lot of people end up in really bad situations because they have cars. Like, nonetheless, like, the accidents you can get in, but I just mean, like, the payments people are willing to accept. They can go from being in a pretty okay place financially to, like, screwing themselves over just to have this, thing. But I don't feel ashamed for driving because I just don't, like, care. It seems like a crazy thing that regular people are allowed to do. I'll probably, like, when the time comes where I can buy a vehicle that can drive itself for me, or, you know, I can pay a subscription fee or something like that and get a car whenever I need it. Totally there for that. That will be ideal for me. The reality of it is, though, is just like, for me, the only thing I really want a car for is to go hiking. That's the only thing I miss. And while it would be great to do that, none of the other things that you really need a car for, at least regular people say they need a car for, I just don't feel that. You know, some folks are like, oh, how would you ever get groceries? I mean, like, you walk down the street and carry them. That's... what? Like, how divorced from being a human and picking something up for a few moments are you? Like, I don't know. I think car brain is a real thing. Even when I play games with folks, and it's like a multiplayer game and they have a car in real life, you can tell because they think, like, just take a car at any amount of distance, even if you could walk there. I don't know. I don't know if I really get it. I'm playing the remake, I guess, of Saints Row right now. And I'm a pretty big fan of the original series. I think 2 is the best, and 1 was pretty good. 4 was alright, and 3 was just like a dumpster fire of trash, in my opinion. Like, it wasn't horrible as that bad makes it sound like, but in my opinion, like, for the series, it was just the worst direction it could go. It didn't understand any of what was fun, and it just went all crazy, lol, random bacons, haha, hold up my spork. Like, it just went too pants on head stupid. I think part of the fun of something being silly is when you can see the contrast. If everything is silly, nothing's really silly. You know, it's like priorities. If everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. And that's kind of how it felt like Saints Row 3 went. Aside from that, I'm playing the current one. And I've been thinking about, like, what can you do to really make every aspect of a sandbox crime game like that as fun as it could be. You know, you spend a lot of time driving. And I don't really inherently enjoy driving. Like, the parts of driving that I think I enjoy really annoy people who do like driving. Like, whether in real life or video games. You know, I don't understand traffic intersections. I don't understand, like, right of way most of the time. I have no idea when you should or shouldn't go. So I just, like, drive like somebody who's only driven in video games. I go wherever I want. I'm often the wrong side of the lane. And Saints Row rewards me for that, which is nice. But it's still fine. You know, one of the reasons I don't drive, and you know, one of the reasons I really don't think I should, is like I get road rage even as a pedestrian. Just walking on the street, I'll get pissed off at cars for like not signaling and stuff. And I get really bored too. Like I just find driving not fun. I understand that some people really enjoy it as a recreational activity. Some people do it professionally. You know, racing or delivery or whatever. Not that those people are driving for fun. But, I just don't... like, I don't get it. You're just, like, sitting in a box going someplace. So, I don't know what you can do to improve that outside of taking away from things that I think real drivers care about. Like, I remember watching Top Gear, and they were explaining that people who really like cars don't want them to, or at least in their viewing of it, they don't want they don't want the car to run perfectly. They want it to, or they don't want it to steer perfectly. They want it to fishtail just a little bit, like just spin out of control in the back a tiny bit. And I cannot understand the appeal of that. Like, if I take that to something mechanical that I'm interested in, like I like computer building. What is the equivalent of a fishtail spinning out in the computer world? Is it like a GPU fan being off level? Is it having like an open part of the case so you can like hear calculations and like little chips and chirps? Like I don't feel like that's something that I can put into my world and make sense of. I would, if I'm driving, you know, if I ever have to, say in real life, I wouldn't want nothing but exactly perfect control. If I had a car, especially say like a nice one, you know, say like a sports car or something like that, which I believe was what they were talking about in the context of the statement. If I spent a lot of money on a car and I went to take a turn and it slipped out even a little bit, I'd probably take it back. I mean, like, this is a defective car. Crap. Can't be a car right. I guess that's taste too. I'm sure there's folks who want, you know, you basically point on a line and it follows that line. That's what I'm interested in. Yet, I think, at least it seems to be, that element of feeling like you're in control of something that's out of control, or just going to a place where you might not know what happens, or I'm trying to understand driving from a perspective of not just like literally trying to get to a place. Like, if you want to go from your house to a grocery store, yeah, like I can understand the appeal of a car in that exact context. I wouldn't say it's fun, though. I would say driving is probably one of the worst parts of that whole thing. And parking, and vehicles are expensive, too, so there's so much weirdness kind of bundled up with owning a car and driving a car. And I don't really like the acceptance of unskilled users. Like, I'm sure everyone's complained when you drive, I've heard it a million times myself, is bad drivers. But it seems like everyone's a bad driver. You know, every person I've ever seen, like, oh, these people drive too slow, they don't know what they're doing. They're like goddamn fucking maniacs who are so selfish on the road that they're more likely to get like 10 people killed than they ever are to help anyone with their stupid advice. Like, there's so much entitlement with people on the road, especially with people who think they're good at it. And I would rather be in the car with someone who's like new and is going really slow and being really careful and cautious and signaling at every single light than somebody who thinks they're like, oh, I know what I'm doing, don't worry, I can just do this. Like, I hate that. I understand, like, you know, if you're playing Monster Hunter and you're like, oh yeah, I can do this, I can fight this thing in 5 minutes, I don't need to use good gear, I can, whatever, like, that's fine. There's no consequences there. Be as cocky as you want to be. But in real life, it's just like, what are you winning by being stupid like that? You're only gonna get, like, dumb prizes from other people that don't really, like, have anything worth giving. You might just die someday as a result of it. And it's just so needless. I don't know. I do wish everyone just had cars taken away from them. I don't even want professional drivers. Just let it all be digital run by, you know, robots. I don't want anyone personally behind the wheel. Like, if you want to do that, maybe you have to, like, you know, treat it like being a rock star. Maybe a couple of people get lucky enough to be professional race car drivers or exhibition drivers. Maybe, you know, like, if you're rich enough, it's like having a horse, you know? You'll have, like, some dude maybe getting rich enough to finally, drive around the circuit every other Saturday. But the reality of it is, at least from my point of view, nobody needs to drive. No regular person needs to. We fabricated this weird worldview where everybody should, everything needs to revolve around it. And it just seems outdated. Like a half step. You know, like, we are discovering mass transportation. We got to, like, okay, we can do this. That's great. And then we never, like, kept on going. We just stopped with the car. Even though you have things like trains that, geez, the trains can go so fast. It's so much more efficient. If you run enough of them, they won't be busy. And people are horribly opposed to them. At least in some countries. Which continues to baffle me. I don't know why anyone would want to fight for having to pay for insurance, having to pay for the crazy costs of a vehicle, having to add something onto your list of things that you now have to defend and watch out for, because it's not like you can just own a car and then, like, put it wherever the hell you want. Like, you need to be able to park it constantly, every single house you ever go to. You need to deal with street parking. If you take it anywhere else, you have to be like, can I park it here? It's gonna cost me more. Going anywhere with it costs money. And I mean, like, that's the nature for a lot of investments. You can't play your, you know, video games without effectively costing money. Like, you have to pay for the electricity every second you use it. And in that sense, sure, cars are the same. It just feels so much more limiting. And then to take it back to the value of the fun, I understand that there's different strokes for different folks, and I don't really want to be like, oh, you know, I can't see how this could possibly be fun. I don't know. It seems like a 1950s thing. Maybe that's showing me as being, like, too postmodern. But being a car guy, being a grease monkey, like, that's, at this point in time, that's something your grandpa does. To have somebody, like, young still want to go backwards like that, I'm sure it makes a lot of petrol heads happy, but we kind of do have to let some things die. And car ownership, personal car driving, it would be so unnecessary if we were able to get to a point where, you know, you could take a train under the ocean and get to Italy in under an hour, and then come back to Canada same day. The fact that people don't want to work towards transportation being viewed as, like, ley lines between destinations. They want to view it as this, like, personal attribution of value and success and accomplishment and what you can achieve, what you can't. Like, people feel like getting their first little Sunfire is like becoming Amelia Earhart. Now you're some great explorer. It's not the reality of it. You're driving on streets other people made, roads other people pointed out. As much as you want to be some sort of adventurer, you're not. Even people driving into the back roads. Like, I've done a lot of back road camping and sites like that where you could probably, like, you know, shoot off 1,000 rounds into a hill and no one would even know. And if they did, they'd come by and do the same thing with you. Like, really backwoods type places. And even then, there's freaking roads out there that all these, like, crazy, super, oh, I'm just doing my own thing, I don't want to go anywhere, this car is my way to freedom. Even the off-road trails. You know, every now and then there's going to be an opportunity to bushwhack, but anyone who's been, like, in the hiking world or done any volunteer time with, like, camps and stuff knows that you bushwhack way more infrequently than you do just, like, walk the same trails. Sure, you can start a new trail, and, you know, you open up a park, and people start to get to it now. They'll, like, start to form their own. But you're not driving your car on those bushwhacking trails. Maybe you're lucky enough to have the land and a reason where you're out there logging and picking out stumps, and you have your 4x4, and you're in mud every single day, and you gotta rebuild your engine to get the sand out of it because the circumstances you're in are so dire. I think most people just, like, walk down, or don't walk down the block and end up putting on an extra 10-15 pounds. Like, that's what cars do for most people. And if you say, like, oh, you know, if I didn't have my car, I wouldn't do anything. Well, I don't know if that makes you a very interesting or believable person. Oh, I might die here. Oh, yeah. Might die. Might seriously be to the death. Oh, yeah. This is like a waiting for it to happen type of thing? No? Okay. I think I have to risk healing even if I get hit. Just because I definitely won't survive before. Now I will. Anyways. Hi, Monoblos. Now, that being said, you know, I'm thinking about all of this, what I'm talking about. Not everybody lives in places that are walkable, and that kind of forces you into a situation where you, air quotes, have to drive. You know, I recognize there are food deserts, or there are literal deserts, and people don't always have availability, and it is an element of modern privilege to dismiss such a technology. That being said, I still don't feel like that is a good substitute for why we can't still strive to build walkable neighborhoods. Why we can't, or why we excuse car-centric ways of building. And why we even need that in the first place. You know, we're fast approaching a point in time where things are so advanced, we're so interconnected, we probably don't need cities anymore. We probably don't need 100,000 people communities. We can probably go back to being a little bit spread out, living in a place where if you want something, you just gotta go 10 minutes down the street. But I know not a lot of people are into that. It can be tough. Like, people who don't walk, they feel like going down 2-3 blocks is some sort of life-ending journey. And while there's probably nicer terms for that, I kind of view that as pathetic. You know, walking is a basic human function. If you stop doing that of your own will without any, like, medically imposed compromise, if you just go, no, I'm just not gonna do that anymore. That's really crazy. And, you know, that's coming from someone who actively enjoys playing, you know, 14 hours of Final Fantasy 14 or Monster Hunter or every other game I have under the roof. Like, I understand wanting to be a shit bucket. I understand how good all 3 seasons of the Orville will continue to be as we get a 4th season. You know, I have sympathy for that, but you gotta, like, break it up and go for a walk or something. You gotta get out. You gotta stand up for a moment and stretch, even if it's go out onto the balcony and smoke. Like, you know, you gotta move a little bit. If you're sitting everywhere, you're never getting up. It just takes time off your life, and then you get to shit bucket less. You know, like, at the end of the day, it feels like you're playing less of the game, but you're actually getting more of the game. Going out means you get more time at the end of all this, whatever this experience is. Maybe it's called being alive. Maybe we're in some simulation. I do not know. I do know that this white Monoblos has taken a good while. What, we just, like, coming up on 25-ish? 24? I don't know. We're halfway to 30. I did lose a map to a cat. Kind of sounds like a problem that a toddler would be experiencing in a workbook, but nope. Oh, okay. No nursery rhymes here. Hello, White Monoblos. Yep. Shatter my eardrums because I don't have earplugs yet. Now, I can't go over there, sir, so I would really appreciate if you, like, charge over here. I'm going to dive, and then I'll try and, no? Alright. I kind of enjoy that I haven't necessarily needed sonic bombs. They're nice. I like using them off the bat. Oh. Good hit, White Monoblos. Are you just gonna go over me? Perfect. Hello, sir. Oh, area transitions. I'm literally rolling out of this world, man. We gotta move it off the edge. Come on. Okay. You do your thing, I'll do mine. Guess we're both shouting in some way. Although not really. I don't tend to shout. I'm bad at it. Like, if I was in trouble, I'm sure I could, but even when I get upset, I just don't... I dislike yelling so much that even when I'm upset, I don't even want to hear it myself. Like, I'm not comfortable with the raise in volume, even if I'm the one who wants to be loud, which very infrequently happens. But that's I think it's a generational thing, too, because every now and then, I live nearby some folks, and there'll be like, this dude next door, and he'll like come up and he'll like scream up at the balcony for somebody he knows that lives there, I think, and he just wants to like get let in or whatever, and it drives me mad. Now I'm not gonna argue with him because I just don't care. Like, it's gonna be an issue for longer if I start yelling at him too, and then we're both gonna be yelling at each other, and then there's gonna be more yelling. So I just like wait for it to go away, and it usually does. But I don't understand the mindset. I just couldn't do that. I couldn't walk up to a thing and like yell. If I didn't have a cell phone or a means of getting in contact with someone and there wasn't like a buzzer box or something, I would just wait. I would just sit and, you know, hope to be seen. I hate causing a scene. I don't like men who yell. I find like a male voice yelling makes me so angry and frustrated and uncomfortable. Because dudes aren't really good at controlling their anger. Oh, thanks, cat. My cat's great at controlling its anger. But dudes aren't. Dudes just lash out and scream at random stuff. Broadly speaking, feels like a lot of folks who I could have got along with, I didn't, because they just have the mindset of toddlers, or will become one the second something goes wrong. Oh well. Blabbering on got us a White Monoblos. Maybe I'll end up wanting this armor. We'll go look at it in a second here. See if it's on par with what we need. Will it do enough favors for us? Kind of tough to say. If it looks good, I visually might just prefer it. I don't think there's like wind defense. I think we could gem for it, like build decorations and add jewels. But I don't think inherently wind is an element we can defend against for Kushalate Aura coming up. Hello. I require all this sustenance. Yep. Cool. Alright. What is next? Okay, it looks like Basarios, and then we have Kushala Deora. That's like, unless this thing unlocks something else. That's what I think this is. Basarios, not actually terribly concerned about. And I just say that because last time I fought a Basarios back in MH1, I had this feeling that it would be more aggressive and harder to fight than it was, and it kind of went down pretty easy even in MH1. And overall, I have a better control scheme in Monster Hunter Freedom. I have better gear by far. So I kind of feel like it's gonna be okay. I don't know if I'm gonna get a cutscene for this. I kind of hope I do, so I can just run around and have it happen to me. Okay, herb. We'll see, though. I have actually been playing a lot of Final Fantasy XIV. I'm very late to the game, but it reminds me of Monster Hunter, not mechanically whatsoever. They're very different games mechanically, but they're also not. There are similarities. Some of the ways that, like, materials are approached, I think some of the weapon armor design is from the same thought of everything should be awesome. There is a similar appeal, even if the games aren't the same. The reason I play them is very similar. I think it's just as well, it's one of the reasons I didn't really get into co-op Monster Hunter a terrible amount. But one of the reasons I am into Final Fantasy XIV, despite it being an MMO. And it was just that in Monster Hunter, I really liked being my own hunter. Kind of making the shots, telling my own adventure in my head, proceeding through the events of the story at my whim. Hunting the things I want to hunt. In Final Fantasy XIV, I still get to do that, but I get to share that experience and my independent expression of what I am in that game, what I'm doing, and what my goals are. And I get to share that with people in a way that doesn't take it away from me. I still get to, like, have those things on my own terms. I could still, if I want to, go run a dungeon solo. I could just have my character the way that I want it. I could play the modes that I want to play. I don't have to open it up and go, okay, my experience is dictated by what other people are interested in. I have not found this Basarios, though. I don't know, maybe I'm just like a weirdly, like, antisocial person. Maybe that's what I'm recognizing more. Not that I'm peculiar in a way that means I just don't mesh with a lot of people. I just inherently don't mesh with people, even if I do get along with them, even if we had similar interests. There's like a pig-headed part of me that's just like, no, I just want to do what I want to do. And it's weird too, because I don't feel like I have any issues sharing, so to speak. But I definitely prefer to be in control. I like to schedule things. I've noticed this my entire life. I do not enjoy things as much if other people have scheduled them. Very infrequently. Every now and then, I'm impressed, and I feel relieved. And even that's, like, super cocky and egotistical to say. But it is the truth. There's just moments where you're at a thing, and all I can think is, oh my god, this would be so much better if I was just the one doing this. Or if I set this up, or if I set the schedule, or if I was cooking. And I know that's not the point of going out and being around people. You're supposed to just, like, relax and enjoy the company and enjoy, like, putting words from your mouth hole in a distance that other people can hear them. And, you know, that's all very riveting. Yeah. But I'd just have so much more fun if everyone was doing the thing that I kind of wanted to do. You know, it's tough to come to terms with that. You don't want to push people into a place that makes them unhappy. And I wouldn't want anyone to do that to me, so I don't want to do it to anyone else. Yet you do have to kind of be honest with certain things. And that's one of them. Like, I can remember I've never really entirely enjoyed, like, family reunions. Or, you know, you're going out with a new group of friends and you're going to have a house party. And it's just because I find most people often, like, their scheduling is ultimately like, yeah, we will be in the same place. And then they stop planning. You know, maybe they're like, oh, we'll eat this. Or I might, like, turn this on. Or we have a pool table. The higher level, like, what we're here to do, what we're going to achieve, what I want to get out of this, what you want to get out of this. It's missed. And I think it's just because other people aren't antisocial. They're getting something out of just being in that space. Whereas me, I'm kind of like, okay, are we eating? Are we doing something? Is there, you know, are we going a certain direction? And if we're not, then I'm just like, okay, sure. Getting myself to do something, like, even just go out and, like, be around people that I love and care about. We have to have, like, a goal. We have to have an objective. Even if it's like, we're going to go to this pub, we're going to eat this pizza, we're going to drink these beers. We're going to talk for a while, we're going to play Mario Kart. I don't really care. I'm not super picky about what the plan is. There just has to be. Because I'd very much, like, rather chew tinfoil than just have to sit around not knowing what to do. And I think just as well is because I could think of, like, 20 different things that I want to be doing basically at any different point in time. I have so many projects going on. I have so many personal interests. I could, you know, not be having to, like, act a certain way just because somebody is nearby. You know, there's so many benefits. It's just not having to be around folks. It's kind of a funny compromise, too. Which is where Final Fantasy XIV really comes in perfect. That is, that's how I want to interact with people. You know, they have something called the Duty Finder in Final Fantasy XIV. And lets you queue up with other random players, or people that you're friends with in the same party as. And go from there to, do dungeons or run content. Once you're done running that content, you break up. You no longer hang out with that person or that group. Unless you're, like, already in a pre-formed party. Like, if you're with your friends, it won't, like, you have to re-get in your group with your friends. That doesn't happen. You'll stay with them. But the random people that you just, like, hey, let's do this thing together, and then you achieve the thing, and then you're done. And that's kind of how I wish every single human interaction that I didn't specifically want went. You know, like if I'm going out with friends, all right, everybody queue up for going to the pub. We know how long it's going to take. When going to the pub is achieved, we all leave. We all just go home. No one feels bad about that. No one's trying to, you know, schedule an after party because we, like, God forbid, we just are done with doing the thing that we enjoyed. That would actually really be perfect. Family dinner. Queue up for it. Hour and a half. Everybody eats. Everybody says they still have a job or don't have a job. Some old people ask you, you know, are you winning? Whatever, like, and then you go. Everyone's done. Or, like, even just, like, going out, like, I don't know. I'm in a weird position when it comes to making friends with coworkers, because I'm okay with making friends with coworkers, but I don't feel obliged to do it. You know, if we end up getting along, great. You know, we'll be friends. But I'm not offended if I'm working with a bunch of people who effectively feel like strangers to me. I don't need to know my team to be comfortable working with them or feel included or something like that. I don't, like, we don't need to have beers together for me to think you're gonna do your job. But a lot of people like that. Like, I was actually, okay, some specific circumstance. I was at a convenience store the other day. And I'm a pretty awkward guy, so I was just trying to get in, get out, get my stuff. And there was some dude at the cash register. I don't know if he worked there, if he was like an owner visiting the store, if he was just a customer who like was hanging out. But I have to say, like, when I was a cashier, nothing drove me nuts more than the person who wanted to, like, hang out. Like, I became very instantly frustrated by that. If you were a customer and I was there and I checked you out and you're like, okay, thanks, have a good day, and then you, like, didn't immediately grab your stuff, I just wide-eyed give you, like, the, what are you doing? And if you try to, like, ask me questions, I'd just kind of, like, stare and give very limited responses. Because that's rude. Don't talk to people while they're at work. Don't trap them and try and, you know, think they're your friends because they have to be polite to you. But that's what somebody was just doing. And he was talking to me about, like, oh, you know, how's it going? How you doing today? And I was like, oh, I'm fine. And I was trying to order this food, because the store does food, but I was too early, because I just, you know, I work from home, I'm on my own schedule a lot of the time. I thought it was lunchtime because I was hungry, I went out. And I realized I'm too early for food. And I, like, just make a joke. I'm like, oh, you know, I've been working from home for so long, I forgot when normal lunch is. And I think the guy thought, like, maybe I was back in the office, and that's why I was going, like, get a lunch or something like that. It wasn't the case. I was just walking down the street from my house. But he's like, oh, you know, I bet you're back to be back with everyone. You're glad to be seeing all your friends. You know, I always love to, you know, get my team together and work with them every day and build in a relationship. And I just kind of went, oh, yeah. What I wanted to say was, like, I am the polar opposite of every single thing that you are talking about right now. I hate having a relationship with coworkers. Like I said, I'm fine with if we become friends. But I would rather be Ron Swanson, you know? Like, let's not talk to each other for our entire relationship, make our money, and then leave. Let's not add one more name of people we have to be like, oh my god, hi, how are you, blah, whatever. Like, let's save all of ourselves the trouble and not be friends. Because we're just here to work. But it's a different mentality. I think it changed industry to industry too. If you're doing, like, really physical work, maybe there's, like, you know, that we're all suffering together thing. But I don't get it. Not for me. But that's kind of made me an outsider in a lot of different situations. You know, like you look at a lot of other dudes, for example. I think a lot of other men have a lot of male friends. I think it seems like a lot of dudes have, like, the boys as a common sentiment. And that's like a go-to. And there's so many elements of that that I just, you know, I can't... being with one dude is tough enough, you know, like, the pushiness, the sudden loudness sometimes, the, like, possibility of random aggression, the, like, dumbass opinions that just come out of nowhere and are violently defended. Like, there's so many parts of just that element of dudes that sucks. But you have, like, 3 or 4 of them together, and, like, it's as if they're just subtracting from each other. I've never seen a group of men get better as their size grows. You know, maybe that's just true for any group of people, but there's an immunity, a performance that starts to come into play that, just not for me. And then you have, like, you know, folks who are like, oh, you know, even in relationships, right? Like, they'll have a girlfriend, they'll have a wife, and they'll still be like, oh, you know, I gotta go out and have some time with the boys. I gotta be outside of the house and, like, spend all night, and I don't know if I'm gonna come home. Like, I cannot imagine having so much fun with some random guys, or even dudes that are, like, your buddies, that you want to, like, ditch your wife and forget to go home. Literally unfathomable to me. I couldn't... Maybe for like $1 million, and even then I'd just sit in the corner and wait for it to be over. And, you know, there's a lot of reasons for that too. I think I'm really scared of dudes. I feel like I don't feel like there's ever really been a dude that I feel like isn't a few steps, stages, or bad comments away from becoming violent. Very, very few men I've ever met that don't give off the impression that they are all fuses. And I'm including myself in that. You know, if I was walking down the street and I saw someone, like, hit their kid, even for discipline or something like that, I would probably lose my goddamn mind. If someone, like, hurt a kitten or a puppy or something like that, and I witnessed it, I would probably just black out and end up in jail afterwards or something horrible, you know? Like, that's what's scary about dudes. That's what's scary about men. It's why I don't like to spend time around them, and it's why I don't like to be in groups of them. We have horrifying instincts. And even those that, like, a dude that doesn't work out, a dude that doesn't have any military training, I'm not saying he's like John Wick or something like that. No, he's not. But he's still capable of dealing more damage than you want. And a lot of dudes enjoy that too. Like, there's a generation of old school men who quantify, like, being respected as how scared of them you are. How much influence they have over you that is suspended by a belief that they'll get upset, that they'll get angry, that they'll get violent, that they will hurt you or demean you or showcase their control or their ability to do whatever. That's horrifying. And it's really common. Now, I'm not saying women are perfect either. Nobody is perfect. People aren't perfect. Humanity is, you know, a checklist of lessons away from perfection. But my specific, you know, sensitivities and issues and the things that I'm worried about tend to align more with other men. Oh well. Well, now that we have tidied up a few different things, I was curious, what does the, well, the Basarios is pretty good, but then I think that's the White Bonoblos, eh? Or no, is that regular Bonoblos? That looks like regular Bonoblos. Oh, the Basarios male is pretty sweet, too. Not really, So I don't know, maybe there isn't a white, Bonoblos. Maybe there is, I'm just not seeing it. Let's look. Dun, dun. No, I'm not seeing like a Bonoblos. Other side. There probably is. I'm just, I might not have like the piece for it, or... Oh yeah, back in the day when long swords were considered, great swords. Kinda hilarious. Okay, so there's some cool stuff going on. Can we upgrade this? No. We gotta get up to the Rathlos. Alright, well that's fine. Not a terrible amount of time, running here. Oh, what do you got to say? Well then, you're back. There's something I must urgently talk with you about. It's about none other than Tigrex. It is a wyvern that once attacked this village before you arrived here. Now Tigrex is back in the area. One of the reasons it is here is to hunt popos, and as you know, popos are one of the workhorses of the village. The popos we have domesticated are already under attack. However, the Tigrex's appetite does not stop at just popos. We'd like you to rid us of this threat. Ugh. Don't worry, you are more than prepared for the challenge. Please show us all your strength. If not for the village, then just to prove something for yourself. I beg you for your help. Okay. Well, that means we have the next urgent. Which is great. But we're not going to do it right now. I imagine there's probably some stuff we can clean out in the lower ranks, right? Yeah. Deliver 2 goldfish. Fish, and it carries on the hearts of children and remains a simple pleasure for adults. Harken back to a simpler time. Bring me back to the desert's most precious gift. Golden fish. I don't really know where to get those off the top of my head. 3 little things. Okay, hunt the plesioth. Oh, I haven't really done that, have I? Because I don't have a frog. Well, I'm curious. Maybe I'd be able to, get it to, come out. And we still have to fight this Kushala Deora before we get there, so... We'll see how that goes. I might just, quickly clean up some of these. And we don't even really have to do anything with these. We just, Oh gosh, I'm forgetting how to button. This lets you just go out and run around and do the thing. We're just gonna deliver it to get these quest completions. Kind of thinking it would be a good idea to finish up everything. Get all those completions and check marks. I wonder where I can get a frog. Because that's what I need for the plesioth. Oh, wow, okay. Apparently, there's one right where I just went. So maybe I should go right back. Yeah, I'm thinking that might be... Well, maybe that's what we can do here. Gone fishing. It's in the desert. Okay, that won't help us. So, I'm gonna go back to the snowy mountains really quickly here. Because I guess right on the right-hand side, right off in Area 1, there might be a frog. See if we can get him for next time with a fight with Plesioth. Yeah, so I guess up by this rock? I don't know if this is legit, but let's see. Wow, okay. Worm. Worm. Frog. Nice. I have no idea how many we're gonna need, but that's a good start. Okay, 2 frogs. Awesome. I can grab some more in an intermission in between episodes, but that might be the way to go. Set this up for Plesioth and Kushala Daora double episode. Finish off every single item in the village quests up until that point, and then go for the Tigrex. Kind of like tidy us up for the 5-star rank quests. Now, I know just as well that I could go to the farm in between these, like, gathering quests. They're not any different compared to a regular one. But they're going so quick. I just have this feeling that it would be an excess of editing. So I'm going to save myself the trouble and just blitz through these ones, because I have a lot of the stuff that I can get from those anyways. The only thing really worth going for would be the Dragonite from the top one. And we're not right at the point where we need tons of it. It's nice to build it up casually. I think I've already gotten 1 piece at least. I think the Rathlos is going to require a couple of pieces. But that's kind of the situation we're in, is we're doing so well with what we have. I'm not going to worry about it. So, how many... I have a fair amount of worms. I feel like the fishing one might be pretty viable if I have a lot of bait on me. There we go. Wow, difficult quest. Okay, everything here is complete except for gone fishing. So we will go and do that really quick. I'll grab Oh, still can't. I can't do that. That's fine. I forget. Yeah, I'll grab some worms. Just go out with them. I think I know where to go for the golden fish. I just don't know how lucky we're going to be. It did give me worms to try it though, so we'll see. We're gonna go back this way because I think this is where they spawn. And we really just want to look for literally a golden fish. I think if it's not there, we can just leave and try again. Can't entirely recall where the bodies of fish are. Somewhere, though. Okay, there are some fish. Not certain if any of those are golden fish, though. They don't really look like it. So I guess I will give it another go. Leave the area, come back in. Pretty sure that's the expectation when you don't get the fish you want. Hopefully it's not like some monumental effort to acquire them. I'm also here feeling like a banging underneath me. I don't know what it is. Something. Neighbor doing something, or there's some construction next door. Oh, I don't know if one of those. Maybe those are golden fish. They kind of look golden. Oh, okay. Is it you? Yeah, I can't really recall how the fishing works 100%. We'll give it a go in a second here. All right. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's A. Yeah, it's A. Okay, I caught a rumblefish. I'm just kind of hoping that those kind of goldeny ones that I see are the actual fish that I'm interested in. I'm also worried about this vespoid, but maybe my cat will deal with it. Ay, ay, ay. Okay. One of these fish be a golden fish. This will let me check really quick if I'm looking for the right thing. Nope, burst arowana. Yep, pin tuna. Okay, well, if more fish are just gonna spawn, that's fine, but... I don't see... Yeah, unless, like, that little fish over there is the one that I want. That might be what's going to go try and take the bite right now. So let's see. Is this a golden fish? No, rumblefish. Okay. Darn. So I don't know, maybe this area won't have it. Maybe I'll have to go to area 1. Hopefully it isn't so rare that like I have no chance here, but these all seem to be the same fish, so we'll have to try another spot. Or we just won't. Maybe I'll just leave it here. Come back another time. I wouldn't really want it to be just a crazy long amount of fish hunting. This isn't a Final Fantasy XIV video. Although, I do like the fishing in that system. There are some games that do fishing really well. I feel like the depth of the fishing in Final Fantasy XIV is kind of perfect. The mechanical mini game like would be hurt if it was a little bit bigger. Not that we can always do something about that. Okay, is there like no fishing to be had here at all? Oh, okay, well that's sad. I thought maybe this would be an area that has it. Something that Final Fantasy has that Monster Hunter doesn't have, and it would make no sense for it to have it. So I'm not saying this is a legitimate complaint, but I wish I had a market port so I could just buy the fish and hand them in for the quest completion. Sometimes going out, getting everything yourself, and you know, living that way is a great thing. Sometimes it's exhausting. In the case of these golden fish, well, I just, you know, whatever. Any of y'all golden? Nope. Some burst arowana, rumble fish, and a pin tuna. Alright. I will go in and out of the area one more time. If there is nothing, I will not do this again. I'll just call it. Or maybe it's between 7 and 6. My hope is temporarily reinvigorated. I think that might be a golden fish in there, so here. Let me get these out of the way. Okay. Do these by chance have any extra bait? I know sometimes that's how this works, but no? Okay, that's fine. Alright, it's over by this one. Okay. No, I don't want you. I want this little thing. Yeah. Oh, no. The pin tuna's gonna get it. Ah, well. A glutton tuna? Well, I guess that is a slightly different fish. Okay, I just want to see if this thing... Like, I guess you'd kind of expect something that looks like a golden fish. Yeah, you can swim around. I believe in you. You can do it. Come on. Oh, this little rare thing is going to pop up and take it? Okay, this thing. Great. Be a golden fish? Sushi fish. And all there is that little thing. And this thing, like, looks like a goldfish. But I doubt it's a golden fish. I'll catch it just to know. Sleepy fish. So, unless I find... And you know what? I don't even really have the bait for it anymore. I guess I could go back and get more, but... If I don't see a golden fish over in 6 when I go back... Oh, I don't want bomb berries. That's it. We'll just call it a mulligan. You don't get bait, do you? No. Nope, looks like the exact same fish as before, so, Well, with that said, and a failed fishing quest there, we still got a lot of hunting done. And I will pick up dealing with some Plesioths and Kushala Deoras in the next episode of Monster Hunter. Thanks for checking out this one, folks.